It's Thursday, February 7. Here are the stories making the news. The youths must vote was being echoed earlier today as government supporters staged a picketing exercise to demand that GCOM hold house-to-house registration before elections. To explain the protest action, we spoke with Director of Sport, Christopher Jones.
Essentially, we are here today to signal to the Ghana Elections Commission that we as young people of this country, we agree with them that indeed, if their timeline as indicated by them is July, then we have to accept that. More importantly, April the 30th of this year, which is a few weeks from now, the current list is exhausted. And therefore, new house registration has to be had. To do that, it provides an opportunity for 28,000, 24,000, 16,000, 18,000, 32,000 young people who are not otherwise on the current list to have an opportunity for them to be registered.
In addition, Jones says the protest is part of efforts to protect the democratic process and the right of every individual to vote.
The PPP claims that it believes in democracy. The right to vote is a democracy, and it exposes the hypocrisy of them. That on one hand, you're saying that you care about the young people and you have their interests at heart. Yet at the same time, you are taking away that basic right from the young people of this country, which is the right to vote.
Meanwhile, among the protesters were several youths who are demanding that they be allowed to register and given the opportunity to vote.
My name is Notai Tapin. I'm 23 years old. My ID card lost for 2 years.
My name is Grace Sanchez. However, I lost my ID card and I went like 2 years back, so I will get a replacement, and however, I haven't got it as yet.
My name is Sharon Thomas and my vote must come this year.
Following the December 21 vote and the ruling of Chief Justice Roxanne George, the Ghana Elections Commission has been called upon to host elections before they are constitutionally due in 2020. However, concerned groups and citizens have called upon the Commission to conduct house-to-house registration and clean the voters' list, which is currently bloated with more than 80% of the Guyanese population listed as eligible to vote. This is being objected to by PPP commissioners, says Gunraj, Bibi Shadiq and Robeson Ben. Reporting for InfoHub, Ayana George.
The University of Guyana's Turkine campus is closed to the public, students and non-essential emergency university personnel for the remainder of this week. The Ministry of Education, in an advisory, reported that following a second bomb threat yesterday, officers of the Ghana Police Force and the Fire Service conducted a thorough search of the campus. No explosives or suspicious objects were found during this search. The closure of the campus permits the administration, staff and student leaders to review the situation and enhance preventative and responsive measures for such threats. The ministry notes that it has received reports of persons visiting homes claiming to be conducting investigations into the recent threats made against schools. The advisory further states that a group of men are moving around in a white minibus pretending to be ranks attached to the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Force. The general public is asked to operate with extreme caution if ever faced with such a situation. You are advised to make immediate contact with the nearest police station and do not allow these persons into your yard or property at any time. Described as a champion for the poor, former Member of Parliament Isahak Bashir, known to many as Tabrak, was laid to rest yesterday. Attending the service was Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu, ministers of government and members of the opposition.
What began as a somber reflection on the life of former Member of Parliament Isahak Bashir turned into a highly charged political event when opposition members present used their time at the podium to lash out at the coalition government. But while the opposition was blatant in their attacks, Ministry of State Joseph Harman eloquently addressed the gathering and focused on what he described as the exceptional life of Mr. Bashir.
Mr. Bashir was a healing soul. And this is the kind of individuals we require in our country that will not seek to utilize an occasion like this to make political speeches, but to recognize that this is a man who provided to this country a quality of leadership, irrespective of where he was, as a community organizer, as a member of parliament, and wherever he served.
Prime Minister Moses Nagamootoo said Bashir was loved by everyone who knew him, and he equally loved everyone, in spite of their political and religious persuasions or racial and social strata.
Irrespective of our ethnicity and race, hence the presence here of a multiracial gathering to celebrate his life. Ishaq Bashir was a universal man.
Mr. Bashir was born on September 18, 1935 in Jacklow, Pomeroon. He was the former chairman of the National Congress of Local Democratic Organs, vice president of the Guyana Rice Producers Association, and chairman of the Guyana-Libya Agricultural Company. In 1995, he was conferred with Guyana's second highest national award, the Cacique's Crown of Honor. He lives to mourn his wife Sabara, partner of 60 years, and a recipient of the Arrow of Achievement Award, 8 children, 17 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. Reporting for InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
Buxton is one of the 3 areas identified under the Rural Agricultural Infrastructure Development, also referred to as the RAID project, where agriculture infrastructure has been upgraded. This project has been encouraging former farmers to return to the land. Minister of Finance Winston Jordan on Wednesday visited farmlands of several of these farmers.
Patrick Howard has been farming since the days of his youth, but was forced to abandon his 5 acres of land. He has since returned and is seeing the fruits of his labor.
I was waiting for this opportunity a very long time because he's not going to really prove himself as a farmer.
Randy Benjamin was already farming when the RAID project took effect in the community.
When they came here, they reached me here, planting. I plant this place between rain and sun. In anything you're doing, you must have a little difficulties, and when the difficulty arrive, you ask for a little advice. You understand? But Nari is trying to work along with us presently now, and we're thankful for the little assistance.
The RAID project focuses on many aspects of infrastructural development for agriculture. This is one of the ways the government is trying to boost the agriculture potential of the country.
Agriculture has money and it can result in sustainable living. And so this is part of the whole process of getting back African Guyanese back to farming and sustainable living, and the whole process that we have in mind of diversifying the economy. All right, agriculture has the capacity to absorb large numbers of people. It is perhaps the only sector in the economy that has that capacity to absorb a large number of people while providing food, employment, income, and foreign exchange, and so forth. So we can't go wrong focusing on agriculture.
As RAID wraps up, Minister Jordan hinted that a similar intervention may be taken to other communities to tap into the vast agriculture potential that exists. For InfoHub, Delicia Haynes.
The judiciary needs to be expeditious when dealing with mining matters. This was the call from Minister within the Ministry of Natural Resources, Simona Brooms, as she met with miners in Madhya, Region 8.
Without overstepping boundaries, Minister within the Ministry of Natural Resources, Simona Brooms, is urging expediency in court matters involving mining disputes of claims and land ownership. According to the minister, this was among the issues brought before her in Madhya, Region 8, during her ministry's open day on Wednesday. While Minister Brooms acknowledges that court matters are out of her remit and have to stay the course, she says a number of properties in dispute are mineral-bearing areas and delays are causing tension.
A serious problem here is the mountain mining properties around the area, and most of them tied up in the court. And some of the properties that is tied up in court is mineral-bearing areas. So there's a big tension, but of course that does not fall under the minister. That is directly in the court.
One of the matters currently before the court is an area called Tiger Creek, roughly 10 to 15 minutes by road from central Madhya. The Emmanuel family has mined the area for many years. However, another miner has been laying claims to the property. But what is of concern to the minister is the fact that the matter has been before the court since 2016. Mistress Lucille Emmanuel, who now owns the property since the passing of her husband, says the lengthy process has been frustrating. Other matters before the minister during the open day included calls for road development. Minister Broom says this has been catered for in this year's budget.
Roads is a concern raised by the miners. Some of the roads I'm happy that they raised is catered for in the budget. So those roads will be done.
Neola Dimon, InfoHub.
Still to come, science labs commissioned in Region 6 schools and Great Falls Village to go online. These and more stories when we return.
The future of Guyana has never looked better. Our nation is on the cusp of a development program like never seen before. While Guyana is now emerging as an energy giant through the discovery of massive reserves of oil and natural gas, it is your government's intention that the huge benefits emerging from this will go where it matters most, to you, the people of this beloved country. There is a surge of confidence in the way Guyana is governed once again, and the level of investor interest is unprecedented. Guyana is poised to become the breadbasket of the region, and the pace at which this nation will grow through prudent fiscal management will be nothing short of impressive. But more than anything else will be the way every Guyanese, regardless of color, class, or creed, becomes a part of this historic period of national transformation, sharing in the wealth and well-being of it all as one Guyana.
Thanks for staying with us. In keeping with the government's push for the development of science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics in schools nationwide, the Ministry of Education has commissioned 3 science labs in various schools across East Berbice Quarantine region.
The new labs at the Kanji Secondary School, Ryman's Irvin Secondary School, and the Berbice Educational Institute were completed at the cost of $45 million. Minister of Education Dr. Nicolette Henry handed over the labs to teachers and students of the respective schools.
We trust that these facilities will be able to use to improve the classroom environment and certainly the learning of the students, and will make teaching much more comfortable for teachers. It's part of a large initiative where I usually would go around to see not only the commissioning, but to ensure that the standards are being met and the best practices, and I know where the gaps are, so I can have my technical officers who will come behind me and ensure that they do the enforcement.
According to the school's grade 11 students, the new lab enables them to do more practical work in preparation for their CSEC exams, to be held in May-June of this year. This was substantiated by the headmaster of Ryman's Irvin Secondary School, Graham Thomas.
We are indeed excited, and the students are ready to put it in good use.
The labs are expected to provide an improved quality of education and foster educational development, critical thinking, and hands-on learning. Reporting for InfoHub, Ayana George.
The community of Great Falls up the Demerara River, Region 10, will soon be connected to the World Wide Web with the establishment of 2 fully equipped community ICT hubs.
The 2 information communication technology hubs will benefit some 300 residents in Great Falls. One of the hubs will be located in Great Falls itself, while the other will be at 58 miles. Residents spoke of the significance of such a project to the development of their village.
I think that's very good because for our children, right? And that's a big step for our children because our interior children, they don't know nothing about computer, you know, they know about the phone and stuff like certain thing, but at least that would boost them up.
I think this will be very beneficial, and most persons will be computer literate because, you know, not because we live in the interior, you know, but not only that you're going on your phone, and, you know, but you could access information. If you don't know about something, you Google it.
Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs Sini Alikok and Minister of Public Affairs Don Hastings Williams visited the community on Wednesday to engage the residents on the project. Minister Alcock reiterated government's commitment to linking the coastland with the hinterland through communication.
As long as we have information, we would have knowledge. And if you have knowledge, knowledge is power. And if you know what to do with this power, if you use it right, you will become a powerful community, thereby developing a powerful nation.
Minister Hastings Williams donated a laptop and printer to the village. She said that the project will especially be of great benefit to the youth within the community.
I'm happy for the good news that you will soon have an ICT hub here. And you know what that means? Many of the dreams your children have will soon come true, because they can connect not only with the rest of the country, but they can also connect with the world.
The buildings are being constructed by the village council at a cost of approximately $2 million through the Presidential Grant Fund. The National Data Management Authority, under the auspices of the Ministry of Public Telecommunications, will install the computers, solar panels, and other equipment once the buildings are completed. Seneca Thorne, InfoHub.
Scores of persons flocked the Stabroek Market Square on Wednesday evening to participate in the launch of the Caribbean Identity campaign undertaken by air carrier Caribbean Airlines.
Minister of Social Cohesion Dr. George Norton congratulated Caribbean Airlines for creating an initiative which celebrates who we are as West Indians.
As Caribbean people, we are much more similar than we are different. Our countries share similar histories and cultures. And most of all, our ancestors came from the same places. Many of them might have even been very closely related. Furthermore, people who travel extensively would truly appreciate and value what it means to be Caribbean.
The minister also expressed appreciation to the airline for its decision to be one of the main sponsors for this year's Mashimani celebration.
We thank Caribbean Airlines for understanding the importance of this festival and for going above and beyond in their support towards the execution of it.
Caribbean Airlines CEO Garvin Madeira explained that the new campaign celebrates the authenticity of the Caribbean region and all the elements that make it unique.
This is a concept to which we can all relate, an affirmation of what makes us unique as a people and a region. Just as in Guyana the motto is, one people, one nation, one destiny, so too in the wider Caribbean, we have forged the Caribbean identity.
The launching of the campaign saw popular Trinidad soca artist and brand ambassador Marshall Montano, Guyanese songstress Tamika Marshall, and other performers, keeping the huge crowd entertained and bouncing on their feet. Neola Damon, InfoHub.
Here's a reminder that the Banks Calypso semi-finals is on this Friday at Union number 53 Village Community Center. And on Saturday, the Carib Soca semi-finals will be on at Linden Georgetown Municipal Bus Park in Region 10. Also on that day, the Chutney Dance competition will be held at the National Track and Field Center in Region 3. More activities can be found on the MASH calendar. That's all for this evening. Connect with us on WhatsApp, like and subscribe to our Facebook page for notifications. You can also follow us on Instagram for updates and visit our website at dpi.gov.gy. Your bridge and weather reports are up next. Goodbye.